So if you want to know about it, call my attorneys.
He never did home robberies. He never robbed people at gunpoint.
Is that all the streets is from you?
From getting punked by a gangster and a comedian to getting fear driven down the spine. These are the times when DJ VLAD gets checked for his disrespectful ways. Now starting off, we got Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street guy.
Yes.
Okay, so why you ask me the same question again?
Okay, fair enough. It was just a different angle.
It's not that it's the same angle. You're trying to push a narrative that's ridiculous, okay?
VLAD being a beta should be common knowledge by now. The host's way of fishing for things or trying to get his guests to say something has been clocked by only a few people over the years. I mean, look it, a lot of rappers have fallen victim to this dude. Well, Jordan Belfort ain't a rapper, and he most definitely saw it coming and checked him for it. So the signs was there from the beginning that the interview wasn't even gonna be like Vlad's other interviews, cause a minute into it, Belfort checked Vlad for saying bad information about his life at the prison.
You get out. Here you are, a convicted felon. You can no longer trade stocks, right?
That's
Are you
not true.
banned
I
from
do
the stock-
trade stocks every day.
Okay, so you can still, you weren't banned from trading stocks.
No.
This was Belfort's reputation on the line, and Vlad couldn't even bother to do a little bit of research, like Google, bruh. Well, Vlad knew better and was trying to fish for something here. Not long after that, Belfort checked the host. He tried to trick the guest into talking about his finances, but Belfort was smart enough to avoid disclosing how much he makes now.
Okay, and how big is the business now? Can you say how much it makes a year? Or is that
It
private?
doesn't matter. I mean, let's say I'm more successful now than I've ever been, and I wouldn't just measure that in money. I'd measure that in the way I live my life and the number of people I empower on a daily basis. I have no doubt that in the next 5 to 10 years, I will make far more money.
So for the first time in the interview, Vlad asked some serious questions when he asked Belfort how he felt about what he did.
Made big mistakes, and I did break laws, and not that everyone on Wall Street doesn't do that. It was proven in 2008 how corrupt Wall Street was, but that doesn't make what I did right. But when you do break the law, and you do get in trouble, and you are a convicted felon, that doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a year. It doesn't happen in 3 years. It takes more than 5, 7, almost 10 years for me, just through hard work and good works, to earn back the trust of people. And now it's wonderful. So I say to anybody, whatever mistakes you've made, it's never too late. But you got to get out there and do the right thing.
Y'all could easily tell that Belfort was sorry for what he did and even remorseful about what he needed to do to earn people's trust again. I mean, come on, after all these years, he believes that he's learned better and is not trying to get people's trust if he ain't gonna earn it. Unfortunately, all that remorse meant nothing to Vlad because he was out to make Belfort feel really bad about what he did.
I mean, when you look back on what you went to prison for and what you did and so forth, do you feel like you're completely innocent, you did nothing wrong, and you were targeted?
What did I just say to you a second ago?
You said that the money's not going back to any actual investors.
Before that. Didn't
Which
I
one?
just say that I deserve to go to jail like 3 times already and that I made mistakes? Did I just
Yeah.
say that?
Yes.
Okay, so why you ask me the same question again? It's not that it's the same angle. You're trying to push a narrative that's ridiculous, okay? Of course I made mistakes and broke the law.
Now, Belfort could tell the kind of BS Vlad was cooking up in here, and he wasn't about to be roped into his antics for his viewers' amusement.
Of course I made mistakes and broke the law. I said the first time I was guilty and Tommy wasn't. That was the difference in the two of us, okay? So, this is a ridiculous narrative because it was...
The man has apologized and again over the years, and Vlad was still trying to make it feel worse for the crimes that he's still paying for. But Belfort wasn't having none of that. Ain't no matter how long a journalist inserts himself into a culture, he can't possibly know everything about it. Unfortunately, Vlad thinking otherwise. So he seemed to think that he knows more about black culture than black people themselves, and he tried that with actor Michael J. White back in 2024. So the two got talking about street life and gangster lifestyle and how tough street dudes really is. And just when they was done with the discussion, Vlad asked Jay White if Puffy is really a street dude.
Is he really from the street like that, or is he just intoxicated with the street culture? Puffy never sold drugs. He was never in a gang. He never did drive-bys or sold drugs or any. He never did home robberies. He never robbed people at gunpoint.
Is that all the streets is from you?
According to Vlad, being a street dude means that you gotta sell drugs, you gotta have robbed and done drive-bys. Now, fortunately, Jay White wasn't letting the Ukrainian DJ redefine being a street dude for him, since he was a street dude and never did none of that nonsense.
People at gunpoint.
Is that all the streets is from you?
I mean, that's part of it, isn't it?
No.
That's not part of it at all.
I'm
There's
from-
no part of that at all. I'm just making all this
listen,
up.
I've done none of that shit. I'm born in Brooklyn, raised in Bridgeport.
Okay.
I'm just as much from the streets
You've got
as a lot of
into
Yeah, Vlad was mad stereotyping, trying to say if you're from the hood, but that ain't the case. Now, Jay White in another interview even schooled Vlad the street dudes were one of the most loyal people y'all could find.
There's people like some of the goons or the street cats. They're the most loyal human beings on the planet. Like if given another set of circumstances, they'd be captains of industry elsewhere. But as far as your heart and going through
The stereotyping and acting like he knows more about black culture is just condescending. And one person who definitely didn't let it slide is...
Apologize to me, nigga.
I apologize. Hip hop became.
Stop thinking you know more about
became-
black culture than black people.
While some people might have come on the show and let some of the disrespectful things Vlad does slide, comedian Ari Spears is most definitely not one of them. So Vlad might be paying for the interview, but Spears ain't gonna sit through all this disrespectful nonsense. In fact, in one of their many interviews, Spears specifically called him out for being a narcissist.
You said something interesting. I was listening to the No Jumper interview, and you said that one of the things that people always criticize whenever you do an interview with me is that
You talk over your
I
guests.
talk over my guests,
Yes.
which I just did.
Not as aggressive.
I don't know. I personally feel that's kind of like the Vlad thing, though, in a way. I feel like that's
But is
why
that-
people kind of gravitate towards.
No. If
No,
you
you don't
read
think
the
so?
comments, no, that's one of the things they don't like.
Really?
Yes. Let me ask you something. I want you to be completely honest, man.
Let's do it.
Would you consider yourself even a little bit narcissistic?
Yes.
Now, the show host stubbornly justifies talking over people in his interviews, saying it was a Vlad thing. And he didn't stop there, neither. He compared it to what the great Muhammad Ali did. Yeah, Vlad and Muhammad Ali in the same sentence was just disrespectful, and Spears wasn't having none of that.
Or can you not be humble and confident? There was nothing narcissistic about Muhammad Ali, but he called himself the greatest.
I think Muhammad Ali was definitely narcissistic.
No, I don't. I think he was
absolutely-
confident.
absolutely
I think he was confident,
narcissistic.
and I think he was humble.
I
This is a
think
man who
you can
this is a man-
interchange
this-
narcissism.
No, you can't.
and
This is a man who
confidence.
once said,
Vlad tries hard to justify his narcissism by claiming that the great Muhammad Ali was a narcissist himself.
Being a narcissist doesn't mean you're not a nice person to other people. You can be a narcissist and be very kind.
Give me an example of what made Ali narcissistic. Because he believed in himself? Because he quoted himself as being the greatest? What was he supposed to say? I am the worst.
He could say, hey, and
Well,
I'm
that
hoping
already-
other people.
You just lost tickets to your fight. Nobody's paying for that.
I mean, listen, fighters are constantly
Listen,
doing
remember-
gimmick. Listen, look,
That before
Every-
Ali,
every boxer-
before Ali,
Okay.
before Ali,
Go ahead.
there was no fighter that was as brash and as confident as him. I'm Joe Louis. Come see me fight at Madison Square Garden. It's gonna be good. And I'll take that back a little bit. The one before him, truly the first arrogant nigga, was Jack Johnson.
I mean, come on. Comparing yourself to Muhammad Ali shockingly wasn't even the most disrespectful thing that he did in that interview. Because a few minutes later, he tried to school a black comedian about black culture.
calling them an
This is
animal,
what I yelled to you.
especially a monkey.
This is what I yelled to you before about you thinking you know your black people better than us. I'm trying to give you a history lesson. Fall back.
Now, at this point in time, the room was tense, and they even returned to arguing about Muhammad Ali. Yeah, this time, Vlad brought up the legendary boxer going to a Klan rally to drive home a point about Ali being privileged.
going
Listen,
to
we-
a Klan rally, I'm not cool with.
we
Me
could-
being Jewish, I don't fuck with the Klan.
Yeah, but-
I would not go to a Klan
But
rally.
the difference is, unless you show up to Klan rally with a yarmulke on and some fucking Hasidic curls,
Yeah.
you can blend in. Ali can't.
I can't blend in because people know that I'm Jewish. I'm a
How would
public.
Yeah, the comparison and ignorance were now getting way too loud, and Spears completely lost it.
Vlad is Jewish.
No.
I'm
How
a public figure.
If you as a white man, what?
He did not come
Vlad,
in as a random black guy. He
Vlad,
didn't.
you don't see the difference between
random
black and
guy
white?
did not show up to the
You
Klan
don't see
rally.
the difference between black and white?
You're
You
talk-
can blend in. No one knows you're Jewish unless you say it.
Listen, Muhammad Ali did not show up to a Klan rally as a random black guy. He
How'd he
showed up
show
as
up?
Muhammad Ali. Like everyone, we're introducing the
Okay.
champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. Everyone in that audience
And
knew
that's
exactly
the only
who he
reason
was.
why got out alive. But you being
Why did he go there in
but
the first
you
place?
being Vlad, Not Vlad, a famous personality, just Vlad. You could go to a Klan rally and nobody's going to look at you and go, let's hang this Jew, because they don't know you're Jewish.
Vlad tried to double down on his argument, but Spears wasn't moved and wasn't letting the show host disrespect the legendary boxer.
But you're not Ali, you're not a showman. You don't have the.
I'm not a showman?
No, you're not.
I have a TV show. I have a YouTube channel with millions of
Then
followers.
why are you sitting on the other side of the camera?
I sit on the other side of the camera. I do interviews, don't I? I've been on No Jumper. I've been on.
You're a showman.
I've been on.
If you're a showman,
I've been on Breakfast Club multiple times.
If you're a showman, you should be sitting where I'm sitting.
That's my style of interview.
Okay, then you're not really a showman. A showman shows themselves.
Okay.
A showman gives a presentation.
I show myself.
Do you show yourself in the same sense that I show myself? Is your career?
I don't do stage work, so no, I do not.
You don't do any kind of real camera work. Do you do TV shows where you're in front of a camera?
I've been on TV.
You've been on. Is that your career?
No.
Is that your bread and butter?
No.
Being a movie guy in front of a camera?
No.
All right.
And now Spears was schooling the host about Muhammad Ali and warned him about bringing up Ali's name. But the show host still got something to say about black people, this time about rhythm.
Oh, your numerical system is off. A beat is a 1-2. 1, 2, 1, 2. White people, your numbers are crazy.
Really?
1, 15, 35, 47.
I personally think rhythm is learned, though. I don't think it's necessarily inherited.
It's absolutely inherited. Black people ain't never had to learn rhythm.
Absolutely.
When did we ever have to learn rhythm?
Ain't nobody ever paused the interview to call Vlad dumb, but Spears did it.
No one is born with rhythm.
Stop right here.
No one is born with
Stop
rhythm.
right here.
No one's born with rhythm.
Stop right here. This is a segment that should be called Vlad Says Dumb Shit. And if you don't believe me, Vlad, when this airs, read the comments.
Listen.
You know, it's a bit of a different thing to be ignorant, and it's another thing to be Vlad level of delusional, and Spears wasn't having none of that on his watch.
My rhythm is superb. I learned rhythm.
When did you learn your rhythm?
As a kid.
How'd you learn your rhythm?
By practicing.
How? What did you do? What kind of music did you listen to?
Hip hop, R&B, rock.
Shit.
During
The rhythm.
No, during
Rhythm.
the 80s. During the 80s, it's not coincidental.
So then what is it, Vlad?
What I'm saying is I listen to everything.
What is it, Vlad?
Listen,
Stop talking about yourself for a second. You're being a narcissist.
Okay.
What is it, Vlad?
Now, shockingly, it became clear that Vlad was just trying to be slick here.
Eventually, white people get rhythm.
You learned everything you learned from black artists who have rhythm.
At the time, I learned from white artists and black artists because the MTV era was very mixed.
Who did you profit off of more so, black artists or the white ones?
What, in
As
terms
a
of my,
DJ.
in terms of my,
As a DJ.
As a DJ, I was a hip hop DJ, so obviously black artists.
Okay, what conversation are we having?
Trying to be
You are
slick.
Fred Astaireing your way around this whole fucking
my way
thing.
around. All I'm saying is, my rhythm. I had no rhythm when I first started. You know, when I look at kids, a lot of kids don't have any rhythm.
If you go on,
It gets learned.
If you go on Instagram and you look at little black kids dance, little black kids, they're in pocket.
Mm-hmm.
They're in pocket. So
because
what are you
they've
talking about?
probably been dancing and practicing.
Spears had to let Vlad know that it was stupid not to understand that almost all black people were born with rhythm, and just because Vlad thinks a few ain't, doesn't mean that he's not wrong.
I know plenty. I know plenty. I know so many black people who can't dance,
and there
who
are
have
black
no
women
rhythm.
with flat asses like white
Exactly.
women. But that's not the norm. White tigers exist, but that's not the norm. Albino gorillas exist. That's not the norm. But how come is it that I could go to a club anywhere in the country? Hold up. I can go to any club anywhere in the country and look at 45-year-old white men dance like toddlers. You see 45-year-old black men dancing like they can't? Show me a nigga that's 40-something years old that don't know how to move.
Okay.
And black. I can show you a bunch of white people that's in their 40s that look ridiculous.
Not me. I'm 50.
Hello, white tiger.
I can dance
Hello,
like a
white
motherfucker.
tiger.
I got great rhythm.
And you owe niggas a residual.
I used to
and you owe niggas some residuals.
I owe residuals.
You owe residuals. We taught you.
Spears completely dominated him, and even when he tried to escape the conversation, the comedian wasn't letting that happen on his watch.
Agree, disagree, man.
We ain't disagreeing. I'm right. I'm right. You're wrong.
Sadly, Vlad killing the conversation was only to bring up another disrespectful take. This time, trying to lecture a black comedian about hip-hop.
Where they said that there hasn't been a real hit song in hip-hop in like some time now.
Yeah, Doja Cat actually recently changed that. Her new song.
I know, but prior to that, what was the quote? What was the actual quote?
There was no hip hop songs that went #1 in 2023?
Man, he could have just easily told the comedian that he didn't know the question here, but he just had to go and be Vlad about it.
Hip hop songs were not going to #1 at all in the 90s. Ever.
In the 90s and 2000, there were no #1 hip hop songs?
Very few. Hip hop was not dominating, was not pop music.
It was the
back
#1
then.
form of music.
Not in the 90s, it wasn't. Absolutely not.
Rap
Absolutely
and
not.
hip hop?
In the 90s?
In the 90s.
You're bugging. No.
So when was it the #1 form of music?
Unfortunately, he was messing with the wrong person.
Apologize to me, nigga.
I apologize. Hip hop became.
Stop thinking you know more about
became-
black than people.
Here we go. So you're actually right. Listen.
You know your facts like you know your rhythm.
Okay.
Here.
Hip hop became a best-selling genre in the mid-90s and the top-selling music genre by 1999. So by 1999, it became the top-selling genre.
Prior to that, you telling me no #1s?
Now you're talking about songs or albums? Because a lot of albums would go #1. Like for example, I think like NWA would go #1, but the songs itself.
Give me both. Give me both.
Okay, #1.
Mr. Tight Fingers.
All right, I'm wrong. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna break it down for you.
Spears made sure to check the show host properly and school him hard about who he was and who he wasn't.
No, I've always said that albums would go #1.
So songs you're
I'm
wrong.
talking about songs.
And you were wrong about the genre being #1 too, right?
That's right.
Don't you ever say another to me, dude.
Okay, so the
You're a
first.
troll.
I'm not a troll. I sometimes not get. I don't get it right sometimes.
But you think you get it more right than me. And this is just my pigmentation. I live in this skin.
In recent years, we've seen Mike Tyson lose the Iron Mike reputation. Regardless, he still remains the person not to cross, and Vlad learned that real quick why an old boxer is still gotta be feared. So in 2020, Tyson sat on the Vlad couch for a quick chat ahead of his exhibition fight with Roy Jones. And the first thing Vlad chose to talk about was to talk about the legendary boxer squandering his wealth.
Really? That's what they said.
That's what they said.
Okay.
And then at one point, you filed for bankruptcy and you were in debt. That's an amount of money that's just mind-blowing. 300 million, that's like multi-generational wealth, to your great-great-grandkids. When you look at that amount of money, #1, do you think that was the right amount, or do you think people are exaggerating on it?
I don't think about how much money I had. The word had is one of the worst.
Tyson responded by admitting that his lost wealth is in the past and should remain there. Well, Vlad, seeing that he couldn't use the opportunity to clown Tyson for his wealth, immediately asked the boxer about Harlem Don, Eric Von Zip, who robbed his former promoter Don King.
You've always, you talk about your relationship with Zip. And Zip is kind of a very interesting figure. Zip was kind of the go-between between like Puffy and all the Southside Crips.
Maybe.
Now, at this point in time, one would expect Vlad to be careful with his words, but he decided to be a smart aleck with Mike Tyson instead.
What is it, here you are, this multimillionaire, and, it seems like you've always been attracted to the guys that are still in the streets to a certain degree. Do you think that's a fair statement?
You think I'm attracted to them?
Well, not attracted to them, but I mean, you like having them around. You're friends with them and you
You think I
maintain
like
this.
having them around?
I'm just asking.
You think I'm friends? What do you think? You think I like having them around?
Vlad seems to have built a reputation for asking almost all black guests on the show about their gang affiliations. And while that might have sat well with rappers, it was just disrespectful to ask the legendary boxer that question. It was even more disrespectful when he doubled down on it. Well, he might have gotten away with it while talking to rappers, but definitely ain't Iron Mike who checked the show host for his ignorance.
You know who these guys are? When you talk, what do you say about me? I'm this big, whatever I am, right? But you know who those guys are? Those are the guys that when whoever I am is a nobody. Those are the guys that live in the same building with me. That gives my mother salt or sugar if they need, or milk. The same guys you rob streets with, and you went to juvenile detention with, and then you went to boxing, you got locked up, went to boxing, they got locked up, got up and went to the drug business. And then you see them, and they know this guy, and then you remember this guy from this time, and you went to school with this guy, and you know this guy, and this guy mother, and your guy mother went to school.
In a later interview, Vlad had to confess that this was the most scared he'd ever been in an interview, because while Mike Tyson didn't get physical, he could have made Vlad eat his own teeth. Up next, we got another person who wasn't taking the disrespect Vlad might have had for rappers. In fact, this might be one of the few times Vlad met a real gangster. So Vlad thought that he could easily bait American businessman and author Robert Kiyosaki into saying something incriminating on the show.
You had touched on this earlier in our interview. But in 2012, Rich Global LLC ended up filing for bankruptcy. And you guys were ordered to pay $24 million to the Learning Annex. Can you talk about what happened there?
I'd really rather not.
Yeah, but he was smarter than that, and Vlad had to know that he was messing with the wrong dude here. Up next, we got the rapper Ruga. Y'all know that Vlad often believes that he's invisible and there ain't no lines that he can't cross. Unfortunately, when it comes to family, Ruga wasn't playing that game and made him apologize.
Cause that was like your second time. I appreciate the apology, but that was your second time, like bringing up something, challenging me as a father and playing with me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm not playing with you as a father. I respect fathers. You know, what I mean, I had a father in my life until the day he died at 84 years old.
Say less.
Back in November 2023, Ruga had a sit down with Vlad, and that conversation went from his beef with Rico Rockless and Lil Durk to his tantrum on No Jumper. Talk about his beef with Rico Reckless, the rapper revealed that they used to be homies until Rico clowning around screwed it up.
And for you to constantly go on rants about, steady talking about duck this, duck that, you bringing up duck mama, that's probably the most disrespectful shit you could do is bring somebody mama in it. You feel me? Then you just constantly dissing. Like, first of all, you mentioning like my little brother Scrap. You all on the internet steady hollering, Scrap this, Scrap that. Scrap was I was with Scrap. But you just got on my phone, fuck Scrap.
Vlad brought up Ruga's supposed fight with Rico in Las Vegas, asking why he ducked the fight. So the rapper explained that he was actually down for the fight and was dying to put his hands on Rico, but he wasn't able to make it to the location of the fight on time because his son was with him.
He pops up in Vegas, but I'm on the way to take my son, you see what I'm saying? To his game, to his fight, boxing practice. But at the end of the day, I got my son with me, so I'm like, I'm not finna pull up. I really had in my mind to pull up with my son, but I'm like, I can't bring my son to no I don't know what he on, anything could go left, shots get fired, anything. You see what I'm saying? I don't want my son in the middle. You see what I'm saying? Now I gotta drop him out 15 minutes, boom. I'm already 30, 40 minutes behind, so it's like, now he on the internet trolling, oh, I'm out here, I've been out here this way.
Now later on, Vlad asked about FBG Doug's murder, immediately trying to bait Ruga into spilling something about the violence in Jacksonville.
Going down the line, talking about all the murders that occurred around their beef, and I would name the person and say their age, and it'd be like, so-and-so 15, so-and-so 14, so-and-so 17, so-and-so 16. Like, all these people are minors. You know what I mean? These not 30, 40-year-olds that are like, what I feel know better.
And Ruga was actually smart enough to see what Vlad was trying to do here and cut him off, letting him know that he wasn't interested in talking about murders in the interview.
And have a
Vlad, hold on.
level of maturity.
Hold on, not to cut you off. Like, I don't know. It's like I don't want to talk about murders. And it's like we always get into this sad of it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? We this is what we go through. This is what we went through. Certain motherfuckers and I don't know. Let's just be happy. Let's talk about something happy, man.
The rapper told Vlad that since he had a son to be responsible for, he was choosing not to be about that gangster life no more.
End up like Brick.
I just made a post the other day about my son, how he changed me and made me just look at my whole life in a different perspective. You feel me? Do whatever behind losing guys and all that. I looked at it like, you know what I'm saying? I had to look at my son, you feel me, and see what I was gonna be putting at risk. And man, that boy changed me, man, for real.
Now, unfortunately, seeing that he couldn't get what he wanted, Vlad soon crossed the line when he questioned Ruga's parenting.
Okay, but on one side, you're saying your son changed you, but you drop off your son to go fist fight another man. You have every child is an individual. And I know that sometimes kids just go off the deep end. But, you know, usually when you see a really, really bad kid, it usually goes with an absentee parent.
Vlad even asked the rapper what he thinks about his son joining the GD gang.
If, you've always claimed GD. When your son gets a certain age and he said, Dad, I want to be a GD, what are you going to tell him?
Hell no.
Really?
Hell yeah.
Why is that?
Because that ain't nothing you want to be. You know, I tell my son, if that's what you want to be, you know what, I tell him exactly what the with it.
Here's the deal, man. Ruger's been GD his entire life, and witnessing all the violence firsthand, he wasn't about to let his son get into all that. He even claims that he don't allow his son to hear his GD anthem song because he doesn't believe that he ought to be rapping to it. He definitely wants what's best for his son, and he was Vlad trying to shame him for it. But Ruger made sure to call the show host out when he brought up his son's name again.
Do you feel like I just rubbed you the wrong way when I told you that I really didn't want to talk about murders and all of that?
No.
I feel like I did, cause you was like you kept going for my son after that.
Yeah, Vlad was definitely apologizing for crossing the line there. I mean, look, if he may have been getting a pass from other rappers, that disrespectful nonsense wasn't happening with Ruger.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
not at all. And if you feel that I somehow did that, and if you feel like I'm using your son to try to prove a point, or because I'm upset or something, that's definitely not the case. And I'm gonna apologize.
Cause that was like your second time. I appreciate the apology, but that was your second time, like bringing up something, challenging me as a father and playing with me. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so he's another rapper who came on the Vlad TV to check him for his disrespectful ways. And this time, he was calling Vlad out for baiting people. Rappers come onto the show and he's already asking about their gang affiliations, troubles with the law, and crimes that they may have committed. I mean, come on. In this particular interview with Surf, Vlad immediately started asking about the violence the rapper faced growing up.
Well, I guess you were 13 when you first saw somebody get killed.
Yeah, word.
How was that as a teenager? I mean, barely a teenager.
Shit, it's real life, you feel me? Like, it's what's going on. It's just, it might sound crazy, better late than never, you feel me? Like seeing it, or not better late than never, but seeing it sooner than later, rather. You feel me? Like,
Not even a music-related question. Even a follow-up question was about the rapper's attempted murder charge.
At one point, you catch an attempted murder charge?
some type of stuff, something like that.
Something like that.
Or
Can you talk about that at all?
something like that.
Not really.
I mean, we could, what's up? What's the question?
Can you talk about the situation?
Yeah,
I mean, you ended up doing
you
ended up doing a year for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was in jail, so, you know what I mean? I didn't end up doing a year for attempted murder. You know what I mean? I was in jail. I was fighting a case of...
Got it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
because attempted murder doesn't carry a year.
It doesn't, yeah, no, it doesn't.
Right.
What you do is, we're talking about what's on the paper. What is the charge that he's in here for?
Got it.
And the next question was about the rapper getting shot at after getting out of jail.
And then last year, there's a situation where you get shot.
Word.
You get shot 5 times. Can you talk about that situation?
Yeah.
So what happened?
Shit, I was at the light. Niggas started shooting. Niggas started shooting through the window.
You were in Jersey?
So, violence, a murder charge, and a shootout, just as y'all could possibly guess. And the next thing Vlad wanted to talk about was snitching. Vlad wasn't even hiding it, man. But unbeknownst to him, Surf wasn't a fool. He could see what the host was trying to do and told him straight up that he acts like the Fed.
You got a couple niggas indicted.
I didn't get a single person indicted. Who did I get indicted? Who did I get indicted?
I ain't about to open another indictment on who you indicted.
My name is on no paperwork. Nobody got indicted.
Realistically, it's like, it's a such thing as it's bait.
Vlad tried acting ignorant about rappers getting indicted after coming on the show, saying that there wasn't no proof or paperwork that made him a suspect. But Surf here wasn't stupid. Vlad might have not snitched to the police, but he most definitely baits people, especially rappers, into saying some incriminating things.
Anybody indicted, but you fish. No. You feel me? You fish. And some of, you know what I mean, some of my peers and some of, you know what I mean, some of the people that sat in this seat aren't, I wouldn't say smart enough, but you feel me, aren't fast enough, you know what I mean, aren't witty enough or aren't intelligent enough to know when it's bait being swung their way or when they're supposed to dip the bait, you know what I mean, type shit. So hell yeah, nah.
Vlad defended his actions, saying that he wasn't anybody's mouthpiece and that these rappers most definitely got themselves into trouble with the police. But Surf stood on business, letting Vlad know that he ain't nothing but a trickster.
Street, you know what I mean, like, you know, in a certain world, and you know, and you sit back and you watch somebody, you know what I mean, like, you're a trickster. You know what I mean? Like you could like.
You think I trick people?
A person that isn't fast enough.
Trying to act all ignorant and play in Surf's face was just mad disrespectful. Cause it's common knowledge that the show is a known baiter, and almost all rappers that come on his show get indicted afterwards. Another case of Vlad trying to chase some incriminating story but gets caught up in the interview. New York rapper Benny the Butcher came on a Vlad TV show back in 2019, and the interview started off with Vlad praising the rapper for his street music and his realness. Vlad even thanked the rapper for shouting him out on one of his songs.
Hey, man, yeah. I mean, you mentioned me on Massacre.
Right.
Where, you remember the line?
Yeah. Why these rappers, I said, these niggas never seen a half ounce. But why they rap about racks and act out these war stories on Vlad couch?
Well, I mean, we've had a lot of really authentic dudes.
No, that's...
The rapper had rapped about fake rappers coming on Vlad TV to act all tough for the cam.
Yeah, don't get it twisted that we just have a bunch of wannabes and people making up shit.
No, I'm watching. I see you have my boy Surf on here, but it's a show up here a couple times, man. I done seen some shit. I'm like, seriously? I don't know, like, it's some dudes that you have on here that I never even seen them.
Not even Vlad could totally disagree that some wannabe gangsters have been on his show. But he maintained that he's got some gangster rappers too, and Benny's definitely up there with him. Now at this point, he was bigging up the rapper, trying to let his guard down for the next set of questions that he had, and almost immediately, he started talking about the street and the Fed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have an interview with Big Meech, and, you know, they didn't catch him with nothing. It was all conspiracy. It was all other people. You know, he never talked on the phone. He never got caught with any drugs or whatever else. A whole bunch of people pointed the finger. The feds came in and built their case against him, and it was like,
yeah, they don't.
You know, they could paint that picture, and you're done.
And that's what they do. That's what they doing to my man Duffel Bag Hottie right now. He facing 20 years right now. So all they do is.
Now Benny had a lot to say here.
They doing to my man Duffel Bag Hottie right now. He facing 20 years right now. So all they do is, They putting a whole bunch of charges and a whole bunch of propaganda on him, and they throwing him in a cage with a bull. The bull being the federal government, the judge, and the jury. And if he make it out, the truth come out. If he make it out, he make it out. But if he don't, he don't. That's how they. That's they tactic. That's how they do it. They put you in a situation and make you fight for your life. And if you make it out, you make it out. And if you don't, you don't.
But just as Benny was engaging the show host, Vlad tried to play a fast one on the rapper, trying to bait him into talking about something illegal, but Benny was way smarter than that.
Well, luckily you're not doing none of that.
Oh man, my hands are so clean.
Yeah, and this is what I always say, man. Like, don't rap about illegal shit and do interviews about illegal. You're still doing illegal. You know.
Benny came on the show in good faith, and Vlad was trying to do him like that. Well, the rapper made sure to check the host and ask him why he asked questions that's gonna get his guests in trouble.
Let me ask you this question right here. Let me ask you this. Now, if you got the platform and you know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, what make you ask dudes questions like that?
Anyone who I talk to, I talk about shit.
Vlad explained that he never forces people to talk about their criminal activities, and all he does is ask questions.
I talk about I don't interview people knowing they're still doing whatever illegal in their present life.
Right.
You know, as I'm talking to them, we don't have those types of relationships.
Right.
And in fact, we've even, you know, you'll see certain interviews where.
Yeah, well, that's rich because Vlad knows what he's doing and the consequences is real. And a lot of rappers who come to his show don't even know otherwise. Well, Benny the Butcher knew better, and he wasn't letting Vlad outsmart him into saying some nonsense BS. So next up, we got Akon, one of the chillest musicians in the world, and even he got to check Vlad for getting disrespectful. So back in 2022, the Senegalese-American singer sat on the Vlad couch for an interview. Vlad started it off chill, praising the musician for his work in Africa and in the music industry. But we all know Vlad. All that praise wasn't lasting long, because in a couple minutes, he dived into the questions about the late Michael Jackson.
Aha. Yeah, and it was my attorney who connected me and Mike together. I mean, at first I thought he was bullshitting. Like, I honestly, I hung up on him when he first called me, talking about Michael Jackson. I want to work with you. Just hung up. But then he called me back with Mike on three-way.
Vlad even asked what kind of women the late King of Pop was into.
You know, you guys were having just, you know, regular casual conversations, and he was into, I guess, the supermodel type females.
Yeah, Mike was human. Like, he was human. He liked everything we like.
The tallest. But he wasn't into the thick women, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he liked supermodels.
Supermodels, tall, thin, and so forth.
But it all made sense, though. Now I know why he always had, like, supermodels in his videos.
Now, all the questions, as uncomfortable as they might have been, were getting answered politely by Akon until he started talking about Michael Jackson's case. Later on in the interview, Vlad revealed that he interviewed the man who had defended Michael Jackson throughout his whole trial, Tom Massaro, and has been digging deep into the allegations about the King of Pop's inappropriate relationship with kids.
Who was his lawyer that defended him successfully in that whole case. And I remember just going through the whole story and so forth and kind of digging into the background and everything. And I remember, because there's always, from the outside looking in, you're like, well, was the allegations true? Was he really into little kids? I mean,
he wasn't, man.
Well, clearly.
He was nowhere near that.
Right.
Akon, who had a close relationship with Michael Jackson before his death, made sure to check the DJ right there.
But clearly some of the stuff he did wasn't really appropriate for a...
Vlad even tries to be stubborn about it, but Akon wasn't letting some DJ pile up nonsense on Michael's legacy right in front of him.
I'm not gonna...
Listen, I live.
Listen. No, I'm gonna finish this.
No, Vlad, because I don't want you to go all over the internet on some.
Okay.
Mike's legacy got to be protected, bro. The nigga was he was a true soul, like pure-hearted.
Yeah.
Nothing negative about him.
Akon made sure to defend the late King of Pop and wasn't letting Vlad use him to score some cheap points off the late Michael Jackson.
Nothing negative about him. Right. Everything that all the love that he came towards kids was genuine because he wanted kids to progress and grow to be the best they could be.
Yeah.
Obviously he was a kid star, so he probably didn't get a lot of those things that normal kids get. So I can probably see where he was pulling from. But he genuinely just loved to see kids healthy and in a good place. He always wanted kids to be happy.
And with that, we coming to the end of time, so DJ Vlad gets checked for his nonsense, disrespectful ways. If y'all enjoyed this one, then check the next one on your screen right now, and I'll catch y'all next time.